You guys listen? Yes?
Hello?
Yes?
Hello?
Awesome.
Test.
So my name is Marcio Deca. I'm a global black belt for field service. And for field service, we try to incorporate from the IoT point of view up to the mixed reality and everything is between. And today we want to talk about specific what's between this. That's the scheduling process. And with me, I have James.
Yep. My name is James Bowen. I'm on the same team as Marcio. So I'm a global black belt for our field service solution as well.
So I don't know if some of you probably attended my quick session that I did a few hours ago. My apology for seeing the same slide here. But I want to play a game here to know how many possible permutations we think we have combining one field agent with 5 work orders. For clarification, a combination, the order doesn't matter. On a permutation, the order is important. With one field agent and 5 work orders, I think that's an easy answer. We have 5 possible permutations. What about 2 field agents and 10 work orders? Can anyone try to guess? How many numbers? So it's not 20. It's actually we have 90 possible permutations with those numbers. What about a very simple scenario? A company that only has 20 field agents and 100 work orders, and you need to organize this schedule. Are we talking about the scale of hundreds, thousands, millions? So it's a very, very, very big number with only 20 work orders. And I confess when I saw someone give me this number, and I had to do my math myself, actually with Excel, of course, to figure out if this was true, and actually it is true. This is the number of possible combinations with only 20 and 100 work orders. Which gives me to, this is a simple way to see that. If I need to make a choice even to pick which restaurant I would go with my wife, with a few options on my city, it's already painful. What we want here is to bring the value of Dynamics for Field Service to help you organize complex schedule scenarios. Scheduling, it is complex. From my point of view, even this slide is complex itself. Like it's not a simple thing to do it. It's more than just controlling your own Outlook calendar. This is more like an activity on Dynamics that you can do. It's something that you're scheduling to yourself. What we're trying to solve here is scheduling complex scenarios where I want to find someone that's right to perform that work, and you have many options on trying to find the right person. Those jokes are not even funny because it's actually complex on that. Like, I don't think those jokes funny.
if you can read them.
Yeah, if you can read them. So what's the promise of field service? We want to find the right person to perform the work on the right place, on the right time, with the right skills, with the right equipment. So this is what we are trying to accomplish that. So one single schedule is the combination of all those R's that we're bringing here. To accomplish that, there is 2 areas that we need to focus, the 2 extremes. The schedule is the end result of the combination of requirements and resources. So today we're going to see a lot about how to build the requirements for some of those complex scenarios, and also how, I'm not going to show too much, but we're going to also understand that it's important to have the skills and the characteristics associated with a given resource, so Dynamics can be able to do this match intelligently. So now, let me handle for James.
Yep. Thanks, Marcio. So if we just take a quick look at this diagram, we can quickly tell that there's many different ways to schedule inside of Dynamics. Right? So if there's one thing we want you to get out of this session today is that there's more than one way to schedule. Right? And to understand how to do that for your business is to really truly understand what your business requirements are, to understand what scheduling method you use inside of Dynamics. So we'll go through a couple of those today and really dig down, show some examples and some specific demonstrations as to how you would use some of the scheduling features here. So we'll start with a quick just schedule board demonstration. So show some quick ways to how you would demo from the schedule board. We'll then go into a new feature called quick scheduling. And that's a great way to quickly find a resource and process. So we'll see how no longer do you have to use the scheduling assistant or jump out to the schedule board, but right in a given process, I can schedule the resource and find the resource I need to schedule. We'll then talk about resource groups and grouping of multiple resources and what that looks like in the system. So if I need to schedule a piece of equipment with multi-resources, I can create that resource group. Those requirements are scheduled, and I can automatically schedule those, right? And then lastly, we'll touch on resource pools and what that means, and the different ways you can have resource pools and how you would schedule those in the system. And then we'll finish it off with what's new and what you can expect to be coming down the road and dynamics for scheduling there. So let me hop out and give you a quick tutorial here. Let's take a look. So I want to start with just a quick look at a resource utilization chart. So this is Power BI that's embedded inside of Dynamics. What we're looking at here is multiple resources for my service organization. And what I'm able to see here is given utilization numbers for the month for my resource team that's out of Boston. We'll look at a Boston board. It'll all make sense on our next slide. But I have the capabilities to see those utilization numbers. You can see here down the bottom there's some additional numbers from where I'm tracking for the month. So if I want to look at a global view, it's not only just my individual resources, but it's also my all-up utilization number globally. I can see estimated revenue for my service organization, as well as revenue that might be coming in, how I'm tracking for goals, available hours. But what's that all mean? This is ultimately what we want to get to, right, as a service and a scheduling organization. We want to have, we want a first-time fix rate. We want to have customer sat up and increase our resource utilization as well. So increasing all those numbers. So how do we do that? Right. So if we take a look, what is it? Control.
Control tab.
Yep. There we go. Next one. If we take a look at the schedule board, this is how we do that. So that last graphic we looked at, Power BI, great. That gives us all of our analytics. But to do that, we have to schedule correctly. So those who aren't familiar with the schedule board, this is the engine where I can see a list of my resources available, right? So we're looking at the Boston board here. You'll notice I have a bunch of different boards up at the top that I can classify. We're looking at Boston, but I see a list of my resources. I can see those work orders or those requirements that are already on the board. But there's quick ways that I can schedule. I can see the schedule's already happened for me here on the board. But quick ways that if I look here to the left, there's a map view. Right, all of those eye drops that I see with question marks, those are requirements that are out there that I need to schedule. So in the event, if I wanted to quickly schedule and drag a route to a requirement that I have here, let's say a customer calls up the dispatch and they say, hey, we need to quickly get someone out on this issue. That timestamp, we can't wait any longer, let's get him out. At dispatch, I see Andy Dixon, I can see his route here. Very quickly, I can just drag this route from the schedule board, drop it, and now I can book that. Right, so a very quick way on the schedule board, drag and drop a route, we're done. A next common way on the schedule board is, here I have a list of my requirements. So Marcio talked a little bit about resources and requirements make our schedule, right? So here we're looking at a list of our requirements. Maybe, central dispatch. Quickly I see that there's a spot here for, Cristal. I want to drag and drop a requirement on the schedule board, quickly schedule that. All I would need to do is simply drag up, drop it here, we'll drop it on the crew. Now I've scheduled that particular requirement, right? So just talking about easy ways from the schedule board, I can drag and drop, I can find a route on the map. Maybe I want to use a schedule assistant. So there's an event that I don't know the correct resource, but I want to go and use my schedule assistant to find that, right? I need some back-end help within Dynamics. I can select the requirement here. I can select Find Availability, and now we're using the Schedule Assistant to go out and search, based on that requirement, the best available resource, and we would have it that we'd have our first demo error here. But what we're using here is a Schedule Assistant. Based on that requirement, it's going to go out and find that particular resource for me, right, within that time period of when we need to meet that requirement.
So what Dynamics is doing is actually matching all your resource, skills, capabilities, and characteristics associated with your resource, combining that with a requirement, trying to find a match. And just to highlight, this doesn't need to be specific to field service work order. The universal resource scheduling can be enabled to any entity on the system, like whatever entity, built-in entity or custom entity, you can enable to create requirements associated with that entity.
There you go. So there's a look at using the Schedule Assistant right from the schedule board. I can see travel time that it's going to take a particular resource. Very quickly, I can book it, move on to my next dispatch and booking that I need to move along. So you want to pan back there. So just a quick look at the schedule board and some quick, easy ways to use the schedule board to schedule. So we quickly were able to drag a route on the map to a requirement. We were quickly able to use our schedule assistant to help us find the most available resource. And then we were also able to drag and drop a booking there. But let's talk a little bit about a new feature, which is quick scheduling. New feature, it's a panel. So if you think of in process booking, I don't want to leave and go to the schedule board. I don't want to leave and go to the schedule assistant. Well, with quick scheduling, this allows me to have a quick little widget on whatever I'm scheduling. It could be a work order, it could be a contact that you're scheduling, a custom entity, but it opens up that quick pane where it selects the most optimal resource for me in that process.
It's very similar to that quick create form that you can enable in any entity. It's pop-ups on the side panel in the same way.
So if we think about the challenge that we were seeing for this feature, why it's here today is, in a central dispatch scenario, I'm on the phone with a customer. I want to quickly find that resource, schedule it while I'm in a given business process. I don't want to leave, go to the schedule assistant, have to search, or even go to the schedule board, and find the available resource. Smart enough to find it for me, and I can book in process while I'm on the phone with the customer, right in a call center example. Next year. So that leaves us to our next use case and demonstration. So we'll go through a quick demo of the scheduling assistant here. So let's envision in this scenario that we have a call center employee needs to quickly find a resource to book an appointment with the customer on the phone, right? So how do we do that in a given process? So to accommodate this, I'll hop in. We'll quickly show how you can configure the quick scheduling in the system. And then we'll also go through the scheduling panel and what that looks like to actually use the quick scheduler. You want to pan me over one? What is that?
Control tab.
There we go. All right. So to quickly start on how you would configure quick scheduling, and again, this can be added to any entity that you might be scheduling. We're going to do it on the work order, and I'll show you how very quickly we can enable this. So I'll go to my resources within the field service application here. We'll notice in the administration tab, there's a booking setup metadata for all of your entities. We'll hop into, and this is where you would see any custom entity that you're scheduling, right? So it could be a contact, an opportunity. We'll hop into the work order, and I'll scroll down on the form, and we'll see here that we can enable QuickBook, right? So what this does is this enables the widget on whatever that entity form is for the scheduling to where you can pull in the quick scheduling assistant. You will see here that there's a resource availability of retrieval limit. So if you have numbers of resources and you want to limit that down to make it easier for central dispatch to just go ahead and quickly schedule that resource, you can limit that number down, which you'll notice here I have it to 15. So let me hop back into the service app here, and we'll hop into our work orders. So I have two examples that I wanted to show. One of retrieving just a single resource in process, and the second being I need to find two resources for a particular incident type that I'm using. So I'll hop into my first work order here. It's with AdventureWorks. We'll notice that it's an inspection type work order that's here. But I'm using just a basic incident type where I need to find one resource, which is a camera installation. So if I scroll up and I select book, you'll notice that it pulls in that quick schedule pane to where very quickly I can find the resource that I need, schedule it. So in this example, again, let's back up a little bit. I'm in a call center. I'm in a given process, right here, up here at the top. I'm in process, and I need to find a resource, schedule it quickly. Very quickly, I can book it, find my correct resource. If I wanted to here, I could use filters on maybe it's a particular resource with customer on the phone that they like to see. I can find that specific resource. It might be a specific date and time that I need to go find. But you'll notice here, let's say we'll settle on, an 8 a.m. We'll go 7:30, right? Where I can see those particular resources, I can select and then book, right? So now it's on the schedule, and we'll see it on the schedule board at that particular date and time, right, for the resource. If I needed to go and get advanced filtering and segmentation on my resources, I could open up the schedule assistant and still access it here in this view if I needed to.
Yep.
So last example, I'll just show where, I really want to show the capabilities of having multiple resources. Marcia's going to talk a lot about our resource groups, and this is a great example of that, right? So based on a different incident type, Now I want to book multiple resources. So, same way I'd book it. I see my quick schedule pane here. But when we go and look at the given resources, we'll notice that we're booking 2 resources and not just one. This could be tied to, if I hit the drop down, you'll notice we have 2 resources here that we're booking on the quick schedule pane. It could be a facility that we want to book with 2 resources. It could be a piece of equipment. But this opens up the capabilities in that quick, yes?
Is this only for available resources?
Yes, that's right. That's right, available resources in that given time, that's correct.
That's
Yep.
matching
And
all the
matching
skills,
all- that's right.
availability, location, all the criteria that you need for your resource requirement, it's being applied on that filter.
Just gonna pan back there, yep. So just the quick value here. We all know time is money, and this call center example, right? We want to book the right resource as fast as we can, not have to leave to the schedule assistant or the schedule board. And then really this allows in-process scheduling. That's the big, from a call center, central dispatch, I can, book that resource and then, move on to my next job there in a call center.
Yeah, I came from the telecommunications background, and there is 2 major KPIs for a call center. The average handling time is one of them, so the quick book can immediately impact that KPI. And the other one is customer satisfaction. And naturally, like we as a customer, we don't want to stay long on a call center call. We want precision on scheduling. And that's what the quick book can do for your business and your customers. So let me jump to a different industry and a different use case. Let's talk about oil and gas and mining industries. Those types of industries require, the requirements of scheduling is more complex than just trying to find a single resource with that skill. Sometimes you need to find multiple resources. You need to mix and match resources and pieces of equipment. You really want to organize all the schedules across different equipments and try to find a correlation between this equipment. So anyway, they have complex scenarios for that. So 2 of those use cases. One of them, I was recently visiting a customer in the field, and they have a requirement that an electrician, they need to work in a pair. They cannot work alone. It's always a pair, always minimum 2 or a team. In other situations, to create some complex maintenance programs, they need to schedule that crew of electricians. I need to request a mechanical with these specific skills, or a hydraulic mechanical together, a piece of equipment for like a crane or a lift to do that. And another example that I'm working a pilot program with a customer right now is they're doing inspections using the HoloLenses. And to book on that scenario, you need to book an inspector with that specific skills to do an inspection on that equipment, and a HoloLens, which is a piece of equipment. They don't have one HoloLens for every inspector, but to book that, I need that person, or a person with those skills, not that person, and a HoloLens with that application enabled on that, for example. So you can even assign characteristics to a specific piece of equipment. Like maybe you have a HoloLens 1 that has some applications prepared to run some application, and you have another device that is prepared to run another application. I don't know, any use case on that. So in a nutshell, what multi-resource scheduling does is your ability to mix and match different types of resources, basically. You can mix and match pools with individuals. You can have like individuals, crews, equipment, and teams, and you can really mix and match those. There is some small limitations, but you can actually mix and match most of the cases. So this is a 3D scheme of one of the projects that I'm working. And what we're seeing here is called a rotary car dumper. I was actually really impressed by the size of the equipment. Under this piece of equipment, there is like a 6-story building. What this does is get 2 carts of a train at the same time with mining material like iron ore inside this, twist the 2 cars at the same time, and this go to a number of how do you say, when you cross that, wherever, like you have belts, sorry. You have a number of belts that the material is being transferred for different belts. So it's a complex equipment. And this is directly related to their revenue. So each hour of this equipment that's not working costs them hundreds of thousands of dollars per hour. So downtime is critical for them. So while visiting them, one of the scenarios that we thought about that they need is that part that you see on the right is what actually hold the train cart so it doesn't go doesn't fall, right? So they have 8 of this, like 4 for each cart. The scenario that they have is exchanging, replacing this equipment is actually very, very complex, and it is critical for them. And they want to also use the moment they get the opportunity that while you perform that work, I want also to schedule other work orders related to this equipment so I can like decrease the time that the equipment is not available for them. To do that, they need to schedule different types of mechanicals, different types of equipment and heavy equipment. They need to assemble a crane on top of this to hold this single part weight tons. So it is a complex scenario. So to do that, let me show you quickly a hypothetical scenario here with them and how we could do that. So what you're seeing here is, this is a different dashboard for the oil and gas, or in a or a mining, where you can see different areas that you have incidents on that. You can compare your schedule maintenance, what was critical, what was not critical with that. Let's go back to the scheduling scenario of this. So the first thing we need to do is to create a requirement group associate that where you're going to build what type of equipment that you need. What we also have is the ability to create a requirement group template. So it means that every time you have a similar requirement like that, you don't need to rewrite and do that again. So let's go ahead. Let's create a new template. I'm going to give you a name. The name here will be like, I need a mechanical in this example, someone with electrical skills, and a crane. I'm going to go ahead and save this. And this is how we build a requirement group. On this example, let me add a requirement that I want a mechanical with a characteristics of someone who has mechanical skills. Then I want to add an electrician, which has electrical skills for that. Then I want to add a crane for this, but for this scenario, I want to specific point up. I have the concept of preferred resource. You still can group that and match. So I want that specific crane. It should have a name here like crane 01, but that's what I want. I want that crane. There are other things here that you can do. Like you can try to find resources by a given category. Like if you want to find, let's say, inspector, for example, could be a category for that. You can set up that when do you want this specific requirement, not on the template, but on the specific requirement for that. So now that we have this created, the next step is you can create now from this template, you can create a requirement group and immediately book that requirement group. There is another way to do this is we can go and associate this with an incident type on field service. For those who doesn't know, an incident type is the entity that we're gonna, basically is the template of everything you need to do when you have this type of incident. So we're gonna associate with the incident type, the product, the service, and then actually let me show this on here. So let me go ahead and change the rotary car dumper incident type. We're gonna, the scenario here is we're gonna replace that clip, that equipment on top. But again, the instance type, on top of associating all the requirements that you need with this type of incident, you can also associate the service test, the individual tasks that you're going to perform on that job. So why this is relevant for scheduling for this specific session? The estimated duration time of your total work order is actually the sum of your individual tasks that you have. So if I'm doing my math correctly here, this is going to take 2 hours estimated to perform that specific work. So the next step on that instance type is associate that instance type with that requirement group that we just created. So if I go to related on that instance type, requirement groups, And I'm going to add a new relationship for that. You can give any name for that relationship, but now I'm going to associate that requirement group that we just created with this instance type here. So by doing that, if I create a work order associated with this instance type, what I expect is all the requirements that we create on that group will be roll up to the work order. So let's go ahead and create a work order. So create a new work order. Actually, let me see if I wish I could go back here, but I can't. So in the work order, I need to pick a service account. I'm going to pick a work order type that you're going to pick install and replace. Then you can associate your primary instance type with that specific work order, which, by the way, this is a click-through demo. That's why I could not go back, something that I skipped, being transparent. Then I'm going to save this work order. What happened here is once you save, when you create a work order associated with that instance type, Dynamics trigger a set of workflows that behind the scenes are bringing all the configuration associated with that instance type to that work order. On the business process flow, the next step is I'm going to give a priority here. This is a high priority case, and I'm going to move to the next step. I'm ready to book that work order. So from this work order, I could go to the schedule board and find availability in the same way that James showed. But from here, from the work order itself, I can click book, and I'm going to find a list of available combination of resources organized by time slot. So as you can see here, it's giving every 30 minutes, it's giving a set of opportunities for me to book. You can change on your requirement group how often you want to see that. Maybe you want to see every hour, maybe you want to see every 30 minutes, maybe every 2 hours. You can tell how many options you want to show here. So I'm going to go ahead and book the at 10:30. Sounds good for me. So what we see here is why we found those matchings here. I found that matching because the crane, I specified specific that I want this crane. I found Alan because he's an electrician, and found myself, Marcel, because I'm a mechanical. The non-matching component that you see here is because there is also Alan is part of a crew, and there is another member of the crew that's not available. So Dynamics is actually filtering out this. You could show that there is another member of the crew, but I'm booking one of these members. So you're part of a crew, but you still can be booked as an individual for some scenarios. So I'm going to go ahead and book an exit, and the end result this, you have bookings, more than one booking for that specific work order. The reason for that is you have a single work order record, but because you have multiple requirements associated with that work order, Dynamics is creating one booking record for one bookable resource booking record for each of those requirements. Right, let me switch here to the slide here quickly. So what is the value of this on this scenario? I almost hit the cable here. There are major goals. Number one goals is to reduce the mean time to repair and increase the mean time between fails. By being able to group resources and organizing this and actually see on the schedule board all other maintenance related to that specific asset, which is something I didn't show here, but the asset relationship with the schedule can give you more opportunities to book more work orders or service associated with that specific asset. So let me hand over to James again to talk about resource pool scheduling.
Thank you. So our last example, we want to talk about resource pooling. So we've looked at the capabilities to create resource groups. We've looked at the schedule board capabilities. Now let's take a look at maybe you don't have the need to find that particular resource and book that resource right then. So what pools allows you to do is open up a pool of resources. So if I wanted to create a pool of facilities, a pool of users, it could be equipment. Maybe I don't need to know my particular resource in that moment that I'm booking. I can book my pool. So often we see, in an example, for pediatricians, we'll go into that use case here. A customer service rep They work at a central repository where they're taking in appointments and phone calls. They don't know that particular pediatrician that they need to book at that moment in time, so they can go ahead and book the pool and then allow for that office then to assign that particular resource when needed in the central office, right? So let's take a look. We'll to accommodate the scenario, we'll look at resource pools that represent pediatricians. So we'll book a pool, and then we'll allow the office manager to then assign the particular pediatrician resource at that time. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Pan it over. Yep. All right. So we're looking in the field service, dynamics for field service application here. So Marcia has taken us through how we would create requirements and what that looks like. So let's dive in, and we're going to create a requirement to where we need a particular pediatrician that we want our call center representative to come in and then book, our particular pool here. So if I come up to new, I'll create my resource requirement, and we'll notice here that we have, in the resource type, it's a pool, and we want to book a particular account, a user, or a contact that then would relate that pediatrician pool. Within the requirement, we can see we have a start and end date, so that would be the date timestamp that we want to book this particular requirement in the pool, and then the duration of this requirement. So we want an hour time slot for a particular pediatrician. So the same flow here, we're going to go up and we're going to select the, our book button. What that does, the same way that we were looking for a requirement group, we're now looking for a pool, right? So we want to book that pool of resources that we can then assign later the particular resource. The same filtering, so we have our start date, end date. We can see our characteristics. We're looking for a pediatric characteristic, right? So we're looking for our pediatrician pool. And then we have our estimated times for start and end. But you'll notice here we found our pool, right? So the schedule assistant has gone and found our our resources that we need for the pool. Very easily, I can book and exit here, and then now we've booked that pool, as that booking at the pool resource. So we take a step back. So in the example, we're a call center, right, for a pediatrician's office. We receive phone calls from customers. We don't know that particular pediatrician resource that we want to book at that time, so we book our pool, right? So that was our front end example there. Now we look at the schedule board. Now we're in the actual office, and we're an office manager, and we need to allocate that resource pool booking to a particular resource, right? So now we look at the schedule board. I can see that there's Office 1 schedule board, Office 2, Office 3 schedule board, but I can see those list of bookings for the pediatrician at 11 o'clock, right? So there's a full, in that pool, we have 5 bookings that we now need to allocate to resources. So as an office manager, I can come in and start to assign those bookings to particular pediatricians. So within the schedule board, I have the capability to look at a split view. So if I right-click on my pediatrician pool, I can then take a look at a split view and understand what pediatrician resources are within that pool, right? So still haven't booked it as an office manager, but now I can see who's available in my pool of resources. So when ready, I'm office manager, I need to go ahead and book this requirement. I can move it down and manually assign. Oop, went too far. Back up there, and manually assign that booking, right? So I can still see within my pool I have 4 of those bookings left, but I can come in and start to allocate inside of my pool of resources to given resources at that time, right? So we're looking at this from a pediatrician perspective and an office, visit, right? Assigning pediatricians, but this could be facility equipment or equipment. This could be facilities. It could be time slots. Any number of things you want to book a pool to. This same example works, right? And then I can allocate those given resources. Move back. This one. Yep. So the value here, the value of this example is I might not need to know in scenario, what resource I need to book at that given time. So it's central book, it's a central scheduler. I can book a pool and then allocate that to, or allow somebody else to come in and book the correct resource at the time needed.
You still have control of capacity of that pool, right? But you just don't know exactly what is the specific resource that you want to book, but Dynamics is controlling the capacity, the number of members that you have on that pool. So you basically have a pool and you add records, children records, resources to that specific pool. So the capacity is being respected. We just don't know at that time what is the specific
resource
on that.
That's right.
So a couple of things that some of them are already shipped, some are coming. We didn't talk today too much about facility scheduling, but there is a difference, a major difference between how Dynamics calculate the travel distance from booking a facility than a regular work order. So in a normal scenario of Dynamics, you want to find the resource that is near, it's closest to the place that you're going to perform the work, to the service account. But booking a facility is from the customer point of view. Is imagine myself that I am a customer, I'm calling someone to say, I'm calling my insurance and say I need to take my car to do an inspection. I know that here in US, the insurance will go to your place, but in Brazil, usually you have to go to the place to do the insurance. So I'm call them and say, where is the nearest place that I should go to perform that inspection? So what Dynamics would do in this situation would try to calculate the distance from my point of view. Here is the right place for you to do, and at the same time calculating all the requirements and matching all the requirements and what you need and what they have to offer in terms of a bookable resource. Another component that we just released is about capacity scheduling. A simple way to understand capacity scheduling is how many times you can overbook the same resource. You may have someone that's highly skilled, and I can handle 2 works at the same time. Maybe I can handle 3. I can do three things at the same time. So basically, the capacity scheduling gives you the ability to book resources up to that, overbook resources in different situations. Quick schedule is something that James just showed. You want to talk about the traveling?
Yeah, so we touched on quick scheduling and the usage of in-process scheduling, not having to go to the schedule assistant, being able to find your available resource in a given process that you might be working. Travel time updates, great feature that's coming. So in the event that you might have on the schedule board, you have 2 work orders or 2 bookings for a particular resource. I could add a booking in between those 2 work orders, and it's going to automatically recalculate my travel time. So no longer would you have to go in and figure out the travel time for the new work order that you're adding. It's automatically calculating those the travel time per resource and per booking added.
So today we didn't talk too much about resource schedule optimization. While this is very, very important, it would not fit in 1 hour session. But resource schedule optimization is actually the Azure engine that is associated with Dynamics that will organize the schedule for you to try to solve that gigantic number that I showed at the beginning of the presentation. Maybe RSO, it's a solution for that. But this has already existed some time. What we do have recently is the ability to optimize the schedule of a single resource. So a potential scenario for that is you have an emergency call and you have to move. I need this work order or this appointment or this schedule and this booking to be done immediately. Therefore, my travel time was messed up of the rest of the work orders through my day. So maybe optimizing that, I could optimize just that single resource and not all your resources. You don't need to run RSO for all your resources, just for a single one. And this is actually something expected. I don't know precisely when this is being shipping, but we want to give the ability to use on portals, the ability for the customer to self-servicing and schedule, find an available slot of time and book themselves on that. Right?
I think from an industry perspective, not only end customers, but any contractor example that you might have, allowing the schedule to be brought out to a portal to then find time, right?
I would like to reinforce here that everything we saw today about scheduling, it's not limited to field service work order. This is applied to any entity that's configured, that you set up to be able to show up on the schedule board. So we'll talk about universal resource scheduling, is not limited to specific to work order. So the future of field service. We talk about things that I am personally very passionate about Internet of the Things and mixed reality. We do have artificial intelligence associated with field service. I do have a session later on the theater at 5:20, if I'm not mistaken, 5:10, about bringing sense to data and machine learning related to connected field service. This is just a 20-minute session, not too deep. But that's actually not the future of field service. This is basically the present. Everything we already have. We do have connected field service associated with that, We already have mixed reality shipping with field service solution where you can see your book information on the HoloLens associated itself. You can embed artificial intelligence associated with those telemetry data coming from IoT, for example, and different scenarios that you could use machine learning as well. So with that, like if you have more, you want to go deeper about scheduling scenarios, this links aka.ms/field service will bring you to the most updated documentation related to field service. We continue to update that document, so this is a link that you want to save on your bookmarks.
And all examples we went through today are at that link.
So with that, I guess that finish our question. Evaluations on this website, please. And I don't know how much time we have.
We're giving you some time back.
Yeah, this room is so far from everything that you need this 20 minutes back to be able to be there. Any specific questions that we can handle? Yep.
So you showed resource pool, and it looked like you were scheduling it on a specific day. You often have site inspections that need to occur. They're not time critical.
Right.
We just need them to happen sometime during the week. Is that possible also with that pooling?
Yeah, I think.
So, yeah, good. Okay.
You can. I'm not so sure if you can go over days. You can definitely say I need this pool in this time frame, and you give you options on all those weeks. Or or say that you need to book for more than a single day. Your booking is a single day that you want to book across.
That's right. It's 4 hours, and it just needs to occur.
Okay, correct. That we definitely can do.
Yeah,
like you can set the time frame on since here to here, like from here to this date, and find me available resource on that. It's a good question in terms of the quick scheduling on that. It would show a few options on that, but you have that calendar where we can pick a specific the date that you want. But the time frame on from this date to a given date, it's where it belongs to the requirement. So this is the requirement. I need from here to that, then you're going to find the availability on the resource on looking on that time frame on that. What I'm not so sure is if you can have a booking that you take longer than 1 day for a pool. I need to check back on that. This is something I didn't test yet. Yep.
You showed the example there of a pediatrician's office. Has this been used with the health accelerator that's available for B365?
I don't
know.
Yep.
That, yeah.
I have to check. Good question. Yes?
When you're talking about artificial intelligence, are you talking about where you're going, where you can change one particular work order requirement and it reshuffles the deck completely and optimizes?
Good question. The resource schedule optimization not necessarily use artificial intelligence to solve the problem. Which doesn't mean that we may not rely on that behind the scenes on our Azure solution. So our resource basically is a black box in terms of how it runs, but you have control of what type of resource you want to optimize. You don't need to optimize your full schedule. You can say, let's say you have a company in multiple geographical regions, and I want only optimize my city, where I have control. Or maybe I want to create a rule that I'm going to only optimize the priority or the high severity cases, and that's what I want. So you can slice and dice this on where you run.
Leveraging AI?
I think you have some sort of AI in terms of the relationship with Bing Max, for example, trying to find the right route on that. But what the resource schedule optimization is doing behind the scenes is trying to solve that travel mathematical problem. Like you have some cities and you need, so there is not exactly a right answer, is the optimal answer on that. AI was not, at this point, is not the right answer for that, because you have multiple ways to set up and configure this. So what our engineering team is using, we have a complex algorithm that maybe a piece of the algorithm is relying a little bit of AI, but it's not pure AI that's doing that behind the scenes. Right. Yes?
Any thought of expanding route optimization to air travel?
That's a,
We have a national practice.
yeah.
I would like to,
That's-
if you
yeah,
can chat later, I would like to know more about this case, because this is, I never heard a use case like that, but I'm curious, and this is something that we could take to the product team as well. I'm not aware of this one, but very, very, very interesting scenario. Yes?
Just with the pooling, you have multiple resources and there are multiple tasks within the work order. There's no correlation between the resource and the task, is there? So this person has to do this.
Your skills and characteristics could be tied directly to the resource, but not the
Not with the service task.
yeah, not the service. Right. Right.
But yeah, on the simple scenario, if you have a single resource, you would have that, right? On the tasks, no,
It's tied
but
to
this
your
is something
incident
that
type,
with a little bit of customization, you
could.
could do it, yeah. But very good question, because now that we have the ability to book multiple resources, I should have a way to book that assign which tasks for each resource that task is specific. Yeah, good point. Any more? Yes?
How do you explain to customers the difference between work order type and incident type and justify both of these existence?
It's a good question
Yeah.
because it's actually tricky to explain that. It's a very good question. The way I personally explain this is the work order type is more as a classification of that. Is a container that we're grouping work orders for different types. So you could have work orders type like inspection, maybe this is a planned maintenance, or this is an unplanned maintenance, an emergential, sorry about that, task. While on the other hand, the instance type is what groups everything together. You are relating not only your step-by-step service that you have, but also products or parts that you need to perform that work, and you can even have the inventory control about that parts, service if you want to build your customer around that service, and naturally your skills that you need for that, your characteristics or requirement for that. So from my point of view, the incidents type is the magical entity behind the field service, while work order type is a way to categorize your different types of work order. A
Better
great
for
question.
reporting, right?
Yeah. Any more? Yes?
If something's called in late after everything's already scheduled out and it needs to be dispatched on that day, but there's no resources available, will it tell you which one's the best one to kind of change?
It's you theoretically you only were able to book if that resource was available. If that resource is not available, you can force that. But Dynamics is avoiding that situation that you are booking something that the resource is not available. But let's say that you book someone, let's say John, and John he's sick. He can't go. Like he has an emergency. He can't go anymore. So if you right-click that specific booking on the schedule board, and then you're going to show the ability for you to reschedule that, and then you eventually you can pop up again the schedule assistant, and then it'll help you to find another resource if you have it, or another time slot. Maybe you don't have a resource today, but I'll have tomorrow on that. Right. You can also, it's also possible for some reason like to move the dates of that. Like you have a scheduling prepared for this area, so oh, this is not going to happen today, I need to move that tomorrow. So you can like actually group that and move all at the same time as well. Any more? Yes?
So when we create the resource group, can we filter them by country? So if I'm in US, I don't see Australian resources available in my pool for schedule.
Yes,
Yeah.
good question. Take this one. So the location of the resource, you can set up the location of the resource, right? For some business case, the resource can be location agnostic. Maybe you work from the web, for example. That's not relevant. In other scenarios, you want to know exactly the right location, the precision location of the resource. And our mobile app, it will tell you a real-time GPS position of the resource. Or you may want to say that for another scenarios, the resource start the day working from that office of that warehouse, go back, and then always go back to the office. So all scenarios are possible. Then on the schedule board itself, you can also create different types of schedule boards and associate. I want to see the schedule board only resources on this geographical region, and I also want, let's say, I want to limit my unscheduled requirements only for service accounts that are in the same region. So you can apply both filters on both sides at the same time.
Okay, that
Yep.
was my question. If you pick a service account, show me the resources available in that group.
In that group, yeah. You also have geofence as well, not specific for that. The geofence, you can trigger actions on the specific geofence. That's not related specifically to the scheduling scenario of the session, but keep in mind the geofence is an important capacity and feature that we have, that you can trigger actions when a resource crosses a specific imaginary line over there.
Is this
configuration.
Configure, yeah.
What you may need code, if you want, is there is ways that you can even add fields on that left pane, on the filter, on the schedule assistant. You have the ability to add all the types of filter on that pane. That requires not coding, but requires some fetch XML and XML configuration to do that. But it's also fully customizable as well. Any more? Yes.
We're having multiple repair centers throughout Australia, but we require our customers to send in the products for repairing. Would you even engage in scheduling the facilities, or what would be your take? Because we can't really control when the customer is sending in their goods, right? Would you engage in scheduling altogether on facility scheduling? Because it would be nice for tracking on what the repair center would have to do for that particular week. What's your take on that one?
Got this?
Yeah.
So let me try to understand right again. So you are trying to book a facility, but the customer, you need parts on that facility?
No.
They're returning.
The customer has to send in the product
Okay.
to be repaired, right?
Right.
I can't control when the customer is sending the product in.
Correct.
Yeah? But I want him, I like what you said, the repair shop for the garage, where you say this is your nearest one from a customer perspective, and we have the same situation as Australia saying, hey, you're living there, this is your next repair center, send it there.
Yeah.
Would you even then engage in scheduling the facility, or that wouldn't make any sense if you can't control when you
Yeah,
visit
because
that
yeah, that's almost just allocating the nearest facility for the customer to
ship.
ship part to.
You can use for that, but you don't have anything to book on that
Yeah,
scenario.
yeah.
That's like you could use to tell what is the facility, but you don't have an action of booking, unless you book.
Once you receive, then you would then you would book.
Then you would book, yeah. Or unless you want to create a log and you use that to say, I want to book here that this is, you're using the engine to find the nearest one, but you're creating a book record like a log that the customer called me today and did that basically. Or they expected, when do you expect to ship? Maybe it's something that you would try to collect. A little bit reverse it, but would be possible with some adaptation on that. I think, no, we still have time. More questions? Yes?
The personnel, is that linked to team shifts?
Say again, sorry?
The resourcing?
personnel resources with that
Yeah, they have
teams?
not teams directly, but there's there's hours of operation.
If a person requests off and it's approved, it just creates another line item, and that shift, the supervisor doesn't go and move that shift he was working
Yeah.
to the open status. Is it smart enough to know that that guy's actually off? He's not
Yes,
working the
we didn't show here, but we do have the time off request. And the time off request is like, each field agent can request a time off. You can set up if needs approval or not. We didn't show this, but there is a full capabilities of time off request. When that time off is approved, if requires approved, it will show up that resource is not available for that scenario. Yes?
How does it play with the SLA and entitlement? So let's say it's 3 p.m. I'm trying to schedule it takes 4 hours to do it. Will it automatically flip to the next day?
We do have some enhancements coming about SLA and control. You can right now enable the SLA for that. But
Might want to take that one
yeah,
and find. Yeah, we'll take it offline and maybe find the answer for SLAs. Not sure. Yeah.
yeah.
I see that we can map incident type with multiple
With a work order.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And is it possible to have multiple templates for winch for one incident type?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Because I see it's NN relation.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking.
So you do have a primary incident type, but you can have multiple incident types associated with a work order. But the primary incident type is what's triggering all the requirements together. The other incident types are just a connection about a relation with those incidents. But it's the primary incident type that actually does the magic, and he creates everything behind the scenes. Was that a question or?
I think he's talking about multiple resource groups to one incident type, or one resource group to one incident type. Uh,
Yeah,
Right.
But I see that we can
associate multiples with that.
Yeah.
Uh, Yeah, I guess you could build. There is something that I didn't show you on the requirement group that my apologies, I forgot, is you can also create branching decisions on your requirement group. So you may say, for example, that I want a mechanical, I'll go back to your question, I will circle back. So I want a mechanical that has basic skills. I need 2 of them to perform my work, or I need a mechanical that's a superstar mechanical, but I need only 1 of them. So you can create branching decisions on that. So I didn't show that on the resource requirement, but you can have a sort of logic, and I need this group of requirements or that group of requirements. Now you're asking, if I'm associating that one requirement group with a single incident type, I think yes, you can associate multiple requirements group for that. Now, how would be the scenario is I can build a template that's saying that to change that clip, I need this requirement, right? But to change the rotary, the engine that actually twists that machine, I need a different set of skills. Now I want to create an incident that I'm doing everything at the same time. Let's say full maintenance on this whole equipment. So I already have one template for that area and another template for that other type of maintenance. I'm going to group together that, and that we're going to build everything that I need if I associate a work order for that requirement incident type. Make sense? There. All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
Can you associate a requirement to a particular site? For instance, anytime we do work, we must have a lift at this site. Or this particular site is a secure location, so someone has to have a particular type of badging requirement.
Good question. The way on the badge requirement, something that I usually have on my demos is that's basically a type of characteristics, a type of skill that you want. So I need someone who has a badge to enter on that building. So I will only associate people who has a badge assigned for them. So that specific basically is a type of skill. A skill can be something that could be a certification skills, or could be how proficient you are in a type of tasks. But you can associate like the badge as a type of skill as well.
And you associate it to a site, so anytime you send someone
On the-
there,
Then you would associate with an incident type specific for that site. Trying to be creative here. Another way to do that
Yeah. So I think it depends on how you're classifying a site.
would be a service account. I'm seeing like that.
So then that just, a requirement maybe on that. Yeah. So I see what you're saying.
Associate, another I think there's different
yeah.
ways to do that, but another potential way is you could, like, for example, create a process associated with that, with a specific service account, and every time you create a work order for that specific service account, you want to create a characteristics or a skill, a requirement of that work order. So requirements can be added directly to a specific work order, not necessarily to the instance type to work order. So you could say, you could have a workflow saying, with the service account, every time I'm booking something for them, regardless of the type of incident, every time I'm doing something with this account, I want to automatically add a new specific requirement. That could be another way to do that. Yes?
With that one, you could have also potentially 2 incident types. So you've got your incident types that represent the work to be done,
Yeah.
and then a separate incident type that represents
There.
each of your sites.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
then what your workflow does, it says, take the site name, pick up the incident type, and put it as a secondary on the work order.
That's
Yeah.
valid. That's correct. Yeah, good idea. Yep.
In one of our regions, we have curfews, and that mimics the school schedule, and that's only active when the school's actually in play. So if we schedule a driver to that location, which would be the work order, how would you mimic that to be able to say he can't go there during this time now, but during the summertime it's fine?
I guess you would have to set up this on your requirement, telling what is the time frame that you can go, and not creating something that's blocking. You basically say what do I need, and only frame those intervals I need on this time frame. Like, instead of trying to say I cannot go here, I can go here, and then you would find a requirement associated with that.
We can probably use business audit
Yeah.
Yeah.
and time of that
Yeah.
Yep.
indirect way of.
Yep. That's what I like about Dynamics is there is no specific right question. There is so many times to do it, so adaptable and flexible that That's my passion, personal passion about dynamics is adaptability, and that's what I really like. There's many ways to do that, not specific right answer on that. Right? All right, thank you so much. Like, if you wanna get in touch with me on LinkedIn, aka.ms/dk, my last name, you'll find my link for LinkedIn. I guess yours is Jay Bowen.
Jay Bowen. Yep.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you.